Do you want to tell the Tracy Alger story? You want to tell the I call it the burning bush, or the tree basin? Is that the right one?
These are already put somewhere, but they're not on video, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're audio.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
let's
Uh,
talk about you and Lamar. If that's okay. The one that you were getting shot at.
yeah. Um,
Tell me. You not want to do it? It's up to you.
I'm wondering, like, what do you, is that the one you want to talk about?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that story.
All right. Oh, fuck. Hold on a second. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. All right. All righty. So what you're talking about, Sean, is the we got called up. Some Apaches were flying around, killed between 12 and 18 Taliban, and our recon platoon got tasked to go do a body count, essentially. So this was up in the mountains, like 10,000 feet above sea level in the Hindu Kush.
Are you recording tight? Because I do want to do an open slate. Like
It's recording, bro.
okay. So basically, this is video two, October the 19th. No, October 1st, 2019. My head's gone. Sorry, Ty. Do you want to start this over, or do you want to?
Yeah, that's cool.
If you want to just open it up, just video two of October 1st, 2019. That's a good way to start it. That way, the editor knows where he's coming from.
Yeah, and the good thing about these is that it saves the time and date stamp on the
Oh,
file.
perfect. Okay, then never mind. Okay, then
Yeah.
I'm so used to doing it in film where the slate's there, but however you want to do it.
Oh, it don't matter. It's um
I say we do it anyways. Just video two of 2000 of October 1st.
okay. All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so some Apaches in Afghanistan went and they were on mission and killed 12 to 18 Taliban, and up in the mountains, is up in the Hindu Kush, 10,000 feet above sea level, mountains, pine trees, all that good shit. Um, so we took help. We got choppered up in there, and they dropped our platoon off. Shortly after landing, we noticed that there was like Taliban camps, lean-tos, just garbage. Like they were using that area as a campsite. Um, we went past all that. Recon Team One was in the lead, and followed by Team Two. Snipers were kind of up on this like ledge, looking down into the valley that the Team One was walking into, and they got in a near ambush, like 15 yards away. Um, there were four of them, four Taliban in a bunker, stone bunker, up against this cliff, and they just opened up on Team One, and they didn't have that much like cover. There was some pine trees, and from my vantage, I could see straight into that stone bunker. Four of those guys in there. So I put my sights on them and started firing through the. I had a perfect shot into the aperture of their doorway. So magazine and a half dumped in there, and they were all dead. But what I didn't know that I got told later on was um, the tree that I was next to was basically being shredded apart by AK-47 bullets. I didn't even know that they were shooting back at me. I just, there was flashes of muzzle where I was shooting, but I didn't know they were shooting back at me. And little did I know, and didn't even realize that this tree was just getting torn to shit. And wasn't until we got back and a couple of the guys were telling me, what happened from their vantage. And and I was up against that tree. I mean, I was like pretty much leaning up against that tree. So that's how close that came. And it was just crazy. my buddy Eric, who was on Team One in the ambush, he got hit in the shoulder. Kept fighting, kept leading his team. We didn't even know that he had been hit until like everything was done. I mean, after those guys were in the bunker, my Thaden, one of the recon NCOs, went up, cleared it, prepped a grenade, threw it in there, let it blow up, and then went in and pretty much made sure everybody was dead. And once that was clear, then Eric was like, yeah, blah, 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 we got this many enemy dead. Oh, by the way, I'm hit. And he just got hit right in just through and through, kind of rode the shoulder blade back here. And so he had to get medevaced out. And we pretty much packed up and left. We had a weather system coming in. We were going to spend the night. I think that was the night we were supposed to spend the night. No, that wasn't the night we were going to spend the night. We had a small window to go do this body count and get out, a window of time. So we pretty much medevaced Eric, which means we called in the medical helicopters, and then we waited for our ride to get there. So we pretty much got out of Dodge. And then we went back because it's an area of interest, and kind of got dropped off in that same area, and with the mission of just hunting down Taliban, looking for caves and cave openings and things like that. So that was that mission. I mean, that's pretty much
right.
That one.
After that mission, you guys go back to the FOB. How do you decompress? How do you guys you just open fired, you just kill or be killed? What is going through the mind of Ty Storkovich at that moment? Like, holy cow, I just got shot at. I didn't get hit, but I took down X amount of men. What are you feeling on that night?
I mean, I guess after all is said and done, you're just you're happy everybody's alive. You get on the helicopter, you ride back. After that kind of stuff, we were more worried about Eric, because he got hit and was on a helicopter. We don't know if he's leaving country. We don't know where he's going, how bad it is. So we flew back right away to the FOB, and we were sitting outside. My friend Troy, he was the recon platoon sergeant. He was in charge of the platoon, came up and was like, hey, we got some information on Eric. He's being flown to Bagram. It's not life-threatening at all. It's just a kind of a through and through. When decompressing from stuff like that, I think decompressing from things like that, everybody handles it differently. I never got that oh shit, I got shot at. You know what I mean? It was just so frequently, it was just part of the job. You don't there's an excitement to it. There's an adrenaline dump, and you just go. You in the moment, you just go because it's a battle drill at that moment. And a battle drill is something that you practice as a unit so much that it's just second nature. You don't have to coordinate it. You just go into action. And that's all it is just battle drill after battle drill. But when you get back, a lot of the guys sit down and play Call of Duty. They just hang out, or Madden, or whatever, video games. There was nothing really for us to do. We were living in tents, essentially. And, we had a TV and an Xbox. A lot of guys went to the gym. A lot of us did. That's how I dealt with it. In country, you just blow off steam by going to the gym and
you go back to your Fort Operating base, or is this what you're talking about once you get back to the FOB?
I'm sorry?
Is this where you went back to the FOB after that mission?
Yeah, you just go back. And
you said that you were in tents, but I take it you weren't just camping out in the woods. You were on this Fort Operating base.
Yeah, we were doing our missions out of the FOB. Yeah.
So obviously you guys can't drink on the FOB. You guys can't do anything else, nothing recreational. So you're either forced to you guys either play video games, Call of Duty, or you go work out.
That's pretty much all you got. I mean,
were there any psychologists there, doctors there, people to help you through that time? Or
medics and things like that. And if things got too bad, they would, pull you from your job and talk to a psychologist or whoever was there. But I mean, I couldn't tell you if there was or wasn't one, but I'd imagine there was some sort of medical personnel available for people to talk, do whatever. I don't know anybody who did. So
you guys just had to suck it up and just were warriors. It's game time. You guys just went out and you just did what you had to do.
That's it, man. That's it. You do it. It's for a year or X amount of months or whatever your deployment cycle is. Ours was a year, and you just suck it up for that time and hope that you can go home on mid tour leave or and get home for good. It's pretty much the mindset that you're in.
That's amazing. How many people, just so people know, how many people are on this FOB? And if you can explain what a FOB is to people, it's kind of like a city, right?
Well, the FOBs are different sizes. I mean, some of them are as small as a 1 platoon patrol base, all the way up to, God, you look at like Bagram Air Base, it's got an airport on it. Where we were at in the first part of our Afghan tour was on a bigger FOB. It actually had an airfield. So in that forward operating base, they had we lived in like a building, and we moved to tents shortly thereafter when we moved out of that province to a smaller province. But it's like a little city. They've got a chow hall, places to eat, company headquarters, battalion headquarters, depending on what size of the FOB it is. But I mean, some of these FOBs look like little cities with, in Kuwait, you have freaking Olympic sized swimming pools and multiple Starbucks, to where we lived. We were living in like 12-man tents, and it was like a posted, like a stamp size. It was just small. It was basically a company plus type of thing. So there's a couple, maybe 150, 200 people on the base, on the FOB, and they don't, like, we got fed MREs. Like, we had one hot meal for a while, and like it wasn't even really worth going to, so we just ate MREs for the most part. But yeah, I've lived, when I deployed, I've lived everywhere from inside an Iraqi's house for X amount of months, as for our platoon's patrol base, to living on a huge FOB in Kuwait. So they're all different sizes. I mean, it can accommodate a brigade to a platoon. It depends on what you got.
Wow. Okay. And again, I keep coming back to this, but to decompress, there wasn't any kind of formal system. The military didn't have like, hey, we're gonna come in and have a gathering and talk about what just happened. Do you guys have to like debrief or write down what you just did?
No, like we no
documentation. So you go up there, you guys survived and you take out the bad guys, but you're not like writing down what just happened. Or how does like the I don't know, how does your story get from where you're at in the Hindu Kush to all the way to the Pentagon?
You go to not everybody. This isn't everybody. This is like leadership at this leadership level, like the platoon or company leadership. You take all that information about what happened. You basically just go tell the intel people that are inside the battalion back at the FOB, what happened. You write. Sometimes you need a statement, like if some weird shit happened, but I rarely ever did I ever write a statement, unless you're just like recounting it for awards that you're trying to get for people or whatever. But it's not like being a cop where
it wasn't, you guys didn't have to sit there and like, like how a police officer or FBI agent has to write down a whole brief of what just happened, step by step.
Not everybody, not unless there's an investigation. And then if there's something questionable that happens on a mission, then they'll isolate everybody, bring them in, and have everybody do their own sworn statement, to kind of corroborate everything.
Wow. And then to and to check your gear in and out, do you guys have a how do you, I mean, you've all this hardware on. You probably have millions of dollars worth of equipment between all you guys. Once you get to the fob, you take it off. Does someone check it in, check it out for you, or
No, you maintain control of your own equipment for the entire deployment.
wow? And there's no lockers for any of this stuff. It's just you guys take it to bed with you.
Yeah, essentially. So you live in your little space and have all your stuff in your area. Yeah.
Quite now. Now after this kind of a mission, obviously you're married to Shelly at the time. You just had your son with her, Cooper. With,
Yeah. Cooper was born during that deployment, actually. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Did Shelly? I mean, how could Shelly get a hold of you? I mean, did you guys set times up so when you guys can talk?
No, 'cause there was a little internet cafe where you get like 20 minutes to talk, and there's a million people in line. So it was just whenever you can get it in. So we didn't have dedicated internet.
I can't imagine what she went through as being the wife of a sniper, and you're always and you're in battle for 3 tours. That had to have been hard for her.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah. I mean, I worried about her more than I worried about myself. I mean, I knew what I was getting into. She had no idea what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm. I'm just taking this all in. Not every day that someone wakes up and says, okay, I'm just going to go into battle and be shot. I mean, you said this bush next to you got blown up to pieces and nothing hit you. I mean, like you came.
It was a pine tree, I think. If I remember, it was like right next to the trunk of a pine tree. And yeah, I mean, nothing hit me, but I guess this tree, and I didn't even see it. I had no idea. This is like being told to me by a couple of my snipers that saw.
Tell us about your snipers who saw this and what their reaction was.
I mean, I guess Lamar was my one of my sniper team leaders. He saw it. He was kind of like behind me because I ran up as soon as the firing went off, but I ran up to the edge of that where that cliff of it was, and I looked over the kind of like the hill where I was at, and I was shooting into that stone bunker, and so Lamar and then Josh Tostian were kind of behind me. They're the ones who saw like that tree just getting chipped the fuck away, you know. But I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about that until like, I don't know, a day or two later or whenever, when we were talking about that mission, and Lamar told me, he's like, man, that fucking tree was just getting chewed up next to you. And I was like, really? I had no idea. And I had no idea they were even shooting at me. It's just, I was concentrating on putting my bullets where they belonged,
So you stayed focused and just did what you were trained to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was all just reaction at that point. It's like, I think all of it, like every time, was just a reaction,
How many combat? I mean, coming from the layman over here, how many of those occurrences happened to you where you guys were always being shot at of the 3 tours?
I mean, I can't count. I couldn't even tell you, man. Like it was quite a bit in Afghanistan. I mean, like almost every time we'd go out, we would get shot at or do some shooting. I mean, it was a constant. Iraq, it just felt like we were driving around for the most part, waiting to get blown up because it was just so frequent. And we did in our missions in Iraq. A lot of the time, it wasn't as dynamic as Afghanistan because it was just a different type of combat, I guess.
Well, explain what that means. What's a different type of combat mean?
So Iraq, for the vast majority of my experiences, the insurgents will put out IEDs and they'll blow up improvised explosive devices on you, and then just like run away or hide or whatever. They were just doing it because they knew that the bombs were casualty producing and destroying equipment. So they were just, it was like more of attrition type stuff. Not too many shootouts. We had quite a bit in Iraq, but comparatively, we didn't have as many shootouts. Afghanistan, they hit you and they hit you with complex attacks. So they blow an IED on you, and then they would shoot at you another element with rocket propelled grenades. And then another element is like dropping mortars on you, and then they're shooting at you with a Dishka, or they're maneuvering another like ground element to try to trap you and defeat you. So it was just way more dynamic. It was intense.
Did any ever have any aerial support for them? Were you guys ever being shot up by their birds or their planes or?
No, the Taliban didn't have any military assets like that. They had like none. No, we had air superiority in Afghanistan and Iraq. So no, there was like zero enemy aircraft flying around in the air.
Never had to worry about the drones or anything like that.
No, didn't have to worry about anything from the air. Everything that was in the air was on our side, essentially.
Drones start to appear in your 14 years. When did they start to come around?
Drones?
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, I worked with drones since 2005. I mean, to one in one way or another. So.
And then you were able to call in airstrikes yourself, right, on the enemy.
Yeah, so like you call in airstrikes. We had air support, so you either have Apache helicopters on, like if you're doing like a named mission, if you're going like a dedicated mission, you coordinate all your assets, so you know that you have air assets from this time to this time. It's generally like a 2.5 hour window. They'll be on station, which means they're there in support of you before they have to go refuel. Yeah.
And these are just local. I mean, these are just helicopters, or was there
Helicopters, we had F-18s, C-130s, you name it. I mean, like this we had Polish Heinz, those helicopters like in Rambo First Blood Part 2 or the Afghanistan one, like the Russian helicopters. God, like I think at one point we had we had the French Air Force in our airspace and had used them, so you have all these assets. I mean, you got, if you're within proximity of a fob that has artillery assets, you can call artillery or mortars. We also had mortars on our
sorry about that. Got it. And that was just my alarm for us the session. But
no, that's cool. But yeah, you just whatever you have and you use them. I mean, we were talking to all kinds of different aircraft and calling them in, and you use them. You use them a lot because you get your distance. If you know where the enemy's at, you can call them in and say, hey, this is where they're at. This is where I'm at. Take them out. And it's almost as easy as that.
Wow. Talking about all this now, years later, Ty, how old are you now, Ty?
41.
You're 41. How does it make you feel about talking about all this?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where mentally, I think, and a lot of people do it, is you fucking shove that shit in the back of your head. Like it happens. It didn't affect me. I mean, it didn't affect me like I needed to be in a straitjacket in a padded room for 30 days. I didn't feel like I had any of the effects of PTSD. In fact, I was worried about myself, thinking I was some sort of sociopath because I wasn't being affected like a lot of the people around me. But like I got out of the military and I wanted to move on. I don't know. I don't know what you're going for. Like I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
You're doing great.
I don't want. I like.
So the trauma, obviously the memories. What about like the concussions? I mean, you're getting shot at. Was anything hitting your head? I mean, were there any? I mean, you have, obviously you said that you've been concussed before. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, besides concussions that I grew up with, those IEDs, the explosions. I mean, we're talking artillery rounds that are blowing up. Then sometimes they string like 2 or 3 of them together. 155 millimeter howitzer rounds. Even if you don't get hit by the shrapnel, or it doesn't toss your vehicle and you get injured that way. The pressure from that, just the overpressure from that much explosives in close vicinity to you is, it has a vote. It does something. I mean, you're getting damage to your brain. And I've been in the vicinity of the close proximity to 6 IEDs during my 3 combat tours. A lot of stuff we trained with explosives for breaching. So you'd have explosive breaches, meaning you're putting an explosive on a doorway of some sort, blowing it up while you're pretty close to it, and then running in. That's another concussive. These are just micro, things. They're not huge. Like, you're not feeling like, oh my God, I just got hit in the head with a baseball bat and got tunnel vision, but you have brain fog for a day or two afterwards. Most of the people that got hurt during the IEDs, they got medevaced, and everybody else who was okay just kind of sucked it up, or didn't even know that they should get checked out. These things just accumulate over and over and over, and then later on, I felt, I was like, what the hell's going on with me? I'm getting like, I don't have the same cognitive function as I used to, and it was kind of concerning. And so that's
Right.
basically the aftermath of what happened to me.
Got it. Let's Ty, do you want to stop there for right now? That's a good little how long have we been running for?
I don't know. It'll say when I stop the
It's
flow.
been around 30 minutes. I just don't want to burn you and me out either. You know what I mean?
No,
I I feel the intensity, and like I said, I'd rather be collecting 20, 30-minute shots than trying to do, until we're just exhausted.
yeah. Today's a really bad brain fog day for me too. So it's like,
I don't even know what fucking day it is, bro. I'm trying to remember October 1st, and
I'm not telling the story as dynamically as I want to, and that's the problem here. So you know what I mean? And it's hard to
but listen, this is just repetition.
remember.
I mean, imagine if your brain fog is going on right now. How are some of these other guys dealing with it?
Right. Yeah. And they are.
And they're not at all. So you're
Yeah.
setting a full example for you're setting an example for so many people out there to want to get and communicate. So this is just the beginning. We're gonna gather hours of footage on you eventually, and then we'll cut it down to what it is you want and what the story is gonna be told.
For sure. Yeah.
So this is great, and I got to tell you, I love the shot of the because I was gonna start asking you, I was gonna start thinking about going into like The Alchemist and why you decided on that book, but that's a whole nother. I'd rather save that for another time.
Yeah. Make a list of like a bullet list of topics, and we can just hit them.
Love to. I would absolutely would love to.
Good, man. It's
Yeah, and we're believe it or not, we're doing a lot. It's just it's gonna. This is people. Listen, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna take 8 years to make an Avatar movie or Star Wars, but we gotta tell your story right. And
yeah, I hear you, man.
I'm just telling you from experience of going through my stroke and my brain injury. And, it took hours and hours and hours. And I've been finding videos that have been on Dropbox forever. I look back and go, I don't remember me talking, and I remember me looking like that because I was a whole different body.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
But we can stop right now and just continue on. It's fine.
Yeah. What do you what topic you want to hit next, dude?
I'd love to talk about, I love for you than me, even, I'd love to talk about why The Alchemist? Why did you pick this? And what were you guys going through at the time that they needed to hear from the Dalai Lama? Why the Dalai Lama? And I'm saying this because that's what they called you, but that's a hell of a name for someone to call you during war.
Well, I got that nickname when I was in Germany, actually. So that was that. Those guys were the ones that
Okay.
gave me the Dalai Lama. I got that on a plaque.
That's so brilliant. Let's talk about that next, and then because we're going to go through the good, the bad, the shit, and then I want to know about when you came off your plane and you came back home. You said, getting back into civilian life sucked. That's a whole nother conversation, and then I want to know about what, you're now back here in the States and you're like, now what the fuck am I going to do with my life? Everything hurts. My brain hurts. My nervous system's all screwed up. I don't want to see the VA. And, if I hit the bottle, it's just going to lead to even worse shit. Maybe you did or you didn't, but you don't drink now. So
Yeah.
let's just go through.
Oh, yeah. I was damn near. I mean, I don't know how I didn't become an alcoholic, and a lot of
You
other
and
people.
I both, bro. I mean, if it wasn't for my liver thing, I think I owned a tequila company, first of all. And I was told by one of my psychiatrists back in San Diego, he says, do not be drinking alcohol. It's a neuro killer.
It is, yeah.
And since I've been off alcohol, I feel much better. I know I'm not putting on the weight I used to be because I was probably closer. I was looking at some of these pictures back in the day. Dude, I had a fucking full pot belly that came out to the laptop, and I hated the way I looked, hated the way I felt. But this liver thing for me was a wake up for me. It was actually a gift
Yeah.
because it caused me to, kind of self-reflect and go, I don't need this shit. I don't need to be eating, drinking this kind of stuff. But that's my perspective of it. This is about your story.